Today. Thank you everybody for joining us in these stressful times. So thank you for tuning in to another installation of wheelchair yoga sponsored by the Woody Foundation. And once again, we're live streaming from beautiful Biscayne Bay in Miami on board the Impossible Dream catamaran. This is a beautiful boat. And we've said before that these chair yoga classes or these wheelchair yoga classes are uniquely Miami combination of efforts, because we have several different non-profit groups that are involved. You know, the Woody Foundation was founded to help support people who have had brain and spinal cord injuries and people who are living with paralysis. They work very closely with different teams here in Miami locally that are all aiming their efforts toward helping cure paralysis. And I'm sure we'll all agree that that's a number one priority. If anyone in your life or your family has been touched by paralysis of any kind, you know exactly the kind of discrimination and the kind of difficulties that they face. Not only they, but the families. We're all in it together. So, and the Impossible Dream Foundation is a unique enterprise in itself, because it's an educational vessel. It's the only sailing catamaran of its kind that was built from the keel up to do what it does, and that is it is completely accessible to people in wheelchairs. It's got hydraulic lifts to get people on and off the boat. The kitchen, the berths, everything, the bathrooms are all accessible by wheelchair. So it's pretty spectacular in terms of being a barrier-free environment. And their mission is to go up the eastern seaboard every year and stop and do different trans groups, rehab hospitals, of course. So if you're watching and you've been following the Impossible Dream and you live near the eastern seaboard and you want to come see the boat, go to their website, theimpossibledream.org, theimpossibledream.org, and you can see that you can follow the prompts and you can contact someone. They have ambassadors in a lot of the cities that they stop in that are that work together to get people out on the boat when they come to town. So it's really amazing, and they've been doing that for about 5 years, I think. Is that right, Captain? About 5 years. So and I'm from Dharma Yoga Studio in Coconut Grove, and all of our groups are community minded. All of us are focused on community outreach, of course, and we're all here for you. We're all in the same boat. Normally when we do these classes, we'll have this boat filled with people in wheelchairs, and it's just not happening right now because we're not supposed to be together. We're supposed to be socially distanced, and of course with people at risk who have other mitigating factors where their health is concerned, we have to be really super careful that we're not doing anything to put anyone in jeopardy. So for that reason, we're here alone, and the bay is incredibly therapeutic. So as I guide you through some of these wheelchair yoga moves, the people in charge that are filming will be able to guide your view out there. So hopefully you'll be prepared for the beauty and the splendor of this gorgeous day, another sultry day. It's slightly overcast. Thank you all for your contributions and for all your feedback that you're giving us. We realized in the last class it was super windy, and you're getting a lot of interference with the mic. So sorry about that. Today I'm in the middle rather than on the side. So please let us know how you feel about doing these classes. We want to continue to do them. We had a special request for more meditative breathing exercises, and of course we'll do that. And so any kind of feedback you want to give us, please let us know. And it's really helpful because we can program the class so that it suits you and what you would like to see and what you'd like to do. Essentially, we're taking our cues from you, So what we'll do in class is kind of what we always do, and that is friendly movements, gentle movements, yoga stretches, yoga strengthening moves, breathing exercises, but all with the idea that it's perfectly adaptable. So change whatever you need to change. Change whatever you need to change to make it suit you. So you can always make suggestions, and we actually rely on that. We want to keep doing these classes rather than having all our friends here, rather than having lots of different examples of what people can do in their wheelchairs. It's going to be just me, so that's going to be slightly more boring than it would normally be, because you're not going to have that many examples. But I'm going to do my best to guide you. Remember, I'm not the boss. I'm not going to be bossing you around. That would take all the fun out of it. So you find a way to do it so that it makes sense for you. Right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sit comfortably. And just because we might not be using our legs doesn't mean that we want to ignore them. So a lot of what we'll do will be physical, or will look physical. But some of it is going to involve some visualizations and some meditations. So for those of you who made a special request for meditative breathing and anxiety-reducing breathing, a lot of that can be bolstered by visualizations. So that's one of the ideas that we have in doing this class, live streaming out in the water, because the water itself is very therapeutic. And the founder of the Impossible Dream firmly believes that, and that's why she set up this foundation to help people that are living with paralysis, not only to gain access to the boat, but to gain access to the water and its healing, curative properties. So as far as following the breath, I'm just going to ask that you take your hands and you put them on your torso somewhere. Just cover as much torso as you can. So you spread out your fingers, you're covering as much territory as possible. And this first part is just an observation. We're using the hands to get a tactile response. A lot of us have a habit of breathing shallowly in the chest, like we do when we're nervous. So if you're feeling that in the chest, just take your hand there and notice. So this is just an observation. Notice and acknowledge how your body moves with the breath, how it expands and how it deflates. This is something that's true for all of us, no matter what. We've been breathing our whole lives. But most of us breathe unconsciously. It is an automatic service of the body, of course, but most of us don't appreciate the breath because it's something free, it's something automatic, we don't have to think about it, it just takes over. But if we're talking about trying to reduce our own anxiety, that has to come from within. So start by just observing the breath. And for most of us, we can notice the breath for a few rounds and then we get distracted by something else. And when we're under anxiety and we have a lot of pressure, the things that are going to be distracting us are usually the things that are causing the anxiety. So I'm going to just keep reminding you, notice the breath. Notice how the body expands and contracts. The body has to open and expand to receive the air. In yoga, we refer to it as the prana, or the life force, more than what is tangibly measurable in the content of the air that we breathe. And because it's difficult to stay focused on the breath, we can employ a technique to make the breath rarefied in some way. There's several ways that we can do that. I'm going to suggest that we constrict the back of the throat a little bit so you can hear the breath on the way in and on the way out. I'm not going to be able to do that too much because in talking it'll kind of negate that. But it kind of might sound like you're just very slightly snoring, very slightly. And some people say it sounds like a kind of mellow Darth Vader. I don't know how you feel about that reference, but so it's kind of like that. So you can just hear the breath on the way in and on the way out. And I'm not sure if the mic can pick it up, but you keep on doing that. Another style we can employ is to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Any way that you can that is good for you so that you can focus on it. That's the primary reason we are doing this with the breath, making it audible. So first we observe with the hands. We notice the rhythm, we notice the quality of the breath. We add sound. And what we're trying to do is work on our powers of concentration. And I want to make this clear that the practice of meditation, when it's sustained, naturally leads, what I meant to say was the practice of concentration, when it's sustained over time, naturally leads to meditation. If we can't concentrate and keep the mind focused, we're going to have a very hard time meditating. But that's what we try to do in little ways. Focus on the breath on the way in, the sound of it, the movements of it, and on the way out. Again, the sound of it, the movements caused by it. Breathe three-dimensionally, not just into the hands and the front of the body, but laterally into the sides of the body. Also back into the back of the body. And keep your hands on your torso wherever you feel the breath. It's okay to change the place of the hands. And I'll ask you to start to breathe a little more low into the torso. So allow your abdomen to kind of stick out. A lot of us are told, hold the abdomen in, but no, let's let it come out so that you're not obstructing the expansion. So now the assignment changes because we're breathing a little more deeply. Keep the breath audible on the way in and the way out. Focus on the sound of it and the movement. Next thing I'm going to suggest is that you count your breath. Everybody in your own way, but you must count steadily so you get an idea of how long the inhale is and how long the exhale is. You count at the own pace. You start 1, 2, 3, 4, however long it takes. Count the exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, count at your own pace so that you can observe it, so that you can determine if the inhale or the exhale are the same length, if one is longer than the other. Now, without changing it, without changing the length of the inhale or exhale, do that for several rounds. Remember, this is the assignment. Here on the boat, we have the sounds of the water to kind of lull us into this state of concentration. If you have some gentle music that you can play at home that would help you, you can do that. So you're really rarefying your atmosphere, making it special for this moment. Now that you've observed your breath like that, we're going to move into what we call samavriti. Sama is roughly translated as same, equal. So we're trying to move into that style of breath, or that pattern of breath where the inhale and the exhale are equal. So if you find a big discrepancy between the inhale and exhale in terms of length, try to even it out slowly, so it's not abrupt. You might make the inhale a little longer, exhale a little shorter, but work it from both ends. So you are aiming toward that goal of equal turning of the inhale and exhale. Now, if your mind wanders away from the assignment, trying to create that equal, that balanced breath, it's normal, okay? That's important to know. It's not punishable. It takes practice, like anything. So just keep at it. Count your inhale. Count your exhale. Try to make them even. At this point, you may have forgotten the assignment. Imagine that you've got a little magnet on the crown of your head, and that the power of the sun overhead is lifting you up So you get that feeling that your neck is lengthening and all of your spine is lengthening, just from that attractive power of that magnet at the crown of your head. And keep on going with this idea, noticing the breath, counting the inhale, counting the exhale, making them equal. So I'll do a breath count. Might be different from the rhythm that you've established, but we'll do a count of 4 on the inhale and a count of 4 on the exhale. So exhale completely. Keep your hands wherever you feel your body moving as you breathe. Take a nice deep breath in, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Really breathe deeply, fully into the lungs. 3, 4. Exhale completely. Empty out from the low abdomen. 4. Keep going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. So keep on going like that, and we're going to add something. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to hold the breath for a moment. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Now hold the inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Do that again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, retain it. 2, 3, 4. Let's exhale longer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do that again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. Remember, make sure you're not gasping or feel short of breath. If so, breathe naturally. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do that again. Inhale, breathe fully back inside of the lungs. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then once more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Now just hold the breath in. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in. 2, 3, 4. This time exhale even longer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's do that again. Inhale, nice deep breath in. 3, 4. Hold the breath the same way. 2, 3, 4. And exhale to 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do one more round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. And exhale to 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now just normal breathing. Relax your arms, your hands. Take some nice deep breaths. Notice how you feel. Notice the quality of your breath. So if ever you're in a stressful situation, and let's face it, a lot of us are under stress right now. If you have an acute feeling of anxiety, try to employ that style of breath. You're focusing on the breath itself, and thoughts and memories will arise and will try to infiltrate. Just hold them off for a moment. Just keep focusing on the breath. Later you can go back to those thoughts, but it's important to establish a habit of and a practice of concentration. And when we're counting the breath, sometimes it helps to bring our focus into what we're doing in the moment, and that itself can give the brain a little break, can give the mind a little break from that constant run of ideas that often plagues us. Sometimes it's inspiring ideas, and sometimes it's the opposite. It's nerve-wracking ideas. But regardless, if we try to establish that one-pointed concentration, it's going to help us in stressful situations. So if you notice your mind wandering, totally normal, just keep on practicing, So we're going to keep on going now with a different exercise, but a lot of it is going to be about breath awareness and timing the movement to match the breath. And this itself can have a relaxing effect on the nervous system. So let's do it. So as you inhale, you're going to stretch the arms out in front of you. Just make them straight as you can. And then as you exhale, bring the arms down. A really simple move. That doesn't mean it's simple for everyone. Inhale, stretch the arms out. And exhale, bring them back. Just keep on doing that. That's the assignment. Don't worry if the arms are symmetrical or if they're equally straight or high. Doesn't matter. If you can lift them a little higher, you do that. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's do 7 more of those. And remain aware of the whole body as you're doing this, not just the moving parts. So 4 more. If you can lift the arms a little higher, do that. Keep that image of the crown of the head being magnetized toward the sky. And 2 more. Lift the arms. Take the time to move to the breath's rhythm. Exhale, arms down. Okay, 1 more, just like that. Inhale, lift the arms up. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Okay, so we're going to move the shoulders a little bit. So on your next inhale, let the shoulders lift up toward the ears. And as you exhale, let them drop. Make the exhale a little more audible. Do that again. Inhale. So do that back and forth. And just the sound of the exhale kind of resembles a sigh. And that is the sound of release or relief. And just breathing like that, letting the exhale be a little more percussive and audible, can change the quality of the inhale as well. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 2 more like that. Last one. So let's keep on going with that idea of percussive moves, and let's start shaking out the hands. And so here we can use a visualization. So imagine that you have something on your hands that you want to get rid of. Maybe it's water. We're all trying to conserve paper towels. So water, anything else that you don't want to use a paper towel for, you're trying to shake it off. But not only that, what if you have something in your life you want to get rid of, you want to shake off? Okay, so put that image into it. Shake it off. Maybe you have to brush it off. And just doing this, not only is it good for the circulation on the surface of the skin, but imagine, visualize that. Whatever you're trying to get rid of, let it shake off, let it be brushed off, figuratively, physically. And then let your arms relax at your sides. After shaking them out, once your hands are still, notice if you have any tingling sensation in the fingers or in the hands themselves. Just a sign that you're alive. That's a good thing. So we also had a special request for special hand strengthening moves. Okay, so we're going to do a few of these. So take all your fingers on each hand, join all your fingertips, and do that in a way that your fingers are as straight as possible. So rather than doing it like this, we're doing it like this with the fingers as straight as possible. And when it comes to bringing all the fingertips to touch, even with the thumb, try to keep them as straight as possible, even though they might not land exactly at the fingertips. Now we're going to let the arms come to our sides, and we're going to flex and extend at the wrists while we're maintaining that position with the fingers. Right? So go back and forth. And let's make this match the breath as well. So inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. That might seem a little slow, so let's do 2 on the inhale and 2 on the exhale. So squeeze your fingertips together. And remember, just the idea that we're matching the movement to the breath is going to give us something to focus on. So that is the assignment. It's not just that we're doing these moves, it's that we're trying to match a lot of them to the breath's rhythm. And then we're going to take the hands out. We're going to spread the fingers apart, and we're going to close the hands into fists. Do that several times. Spread the fingers apart and close them into fists. So we'll do 2 on the inhale and 2 on the exhale. So matching the movement with the breath's rhythm is exactly what we're trying to go for. So try to be precise. It's easy to forget the assignment, but it's one of the most important things, really. It's the most difficult, one of the most difficult. And then from here, we're going to shake out the hands again, and we're going to do a little stretch for the hands. So I'm going to say right and left for this exercise, even though I try to avoid micromanaging you. Sometimes it just makes sense for me to do that, to boss you around a little bit. So this is how it's going to go. We're going to lift the left hand, and we're going to turn the palm to face forward. And then we're going to rotate externally the arm so that the fingertips aim down. And then we're going to take the right hand and we're going to wrap them around the fingers of the left hand. So we're going to gently flex back. One thing is flexing the fingers back where they meet the rim of the palm. Another is flexing at the wrist. So there's 2 different actions. So inhale, put the hand kind of in neutral, and then exhale, flex the fingers, flex at the wrists. Inhale, release. Let's do that 3 times more. Exhale, flex the fingers, flex at the wrist. Inhale, relax into neutral. Exhale, flex the fingers and the wrist. And last one, inhale into neutral. And exhale, flex at the fingers, flex at the wrist. Okay, so let's relax, shake out that hand. Alternately, I should have said this earlier, if you don't have use of both hands, we can do it like this by putting the hand, resting it either on your leg or on some other kind of surface, anything in front of you where you're getting that idea of flexing the fingers and at the wrist. We'll try it on the other side, and just keep in mind that of course you can do it like this or any other way that you can anchor your hand or your fingers so that you can get that sensation. So I'm going to talk it through as if we're doing the other side. So right hand is going to aim forward, palm facing forward, fingertips aiming down. The left fingers are going to wrap onto the right fingers. So take a deep breath in, hand is kind of in neutral. Exhale, flex at the fingers, flex at the wrist. Inhale in neutral. Exhale, flex the fingers and flex at the wrist. 3 more. Notice where you feel your tightness. 2 more. Make your breath audible if you're having a hard time focusing on it. And last one, inhale. Flex the fingers and flex the wrist. Okay, shake out your hands now. Shake out the arms. And let's keep on going with that idea of using the arms and matching the movement to the breath's rhythm. So we're going to take the arms out to the side. So first we're going to have the arms aimed down, like at a diagonal, with the fingertips stretched out so the fingers are as straight as possible. And just notice the difference between having your arms dangling at your sides and engaging the arms. We want the arms engaged here. So we're going to lift the arms up a little bit more if we can, and a little bit more. So you do it at a height that makes sense for you. Having them down at a diagonal is a fine place to be, or parallel to the ground with the arms, whatever you can manage, right? So we're going to externally rotate at the shoulders, turning the palms up. And then we're going to internally rotate from the shoulders We see the elbows change, the wrists change, the position of the hands change, and the hands might even aim back. Okay, so let's do that with the breath. So inhale, externally rotate, palms facing up, arms engaged. Exhale, internally rotate, palms facing down or back. So go as much as you can. Inhale and exhale. And inhale, arms engaged, and exhale. And notice that as you're doing this, when it comes to making the rotation, when it comes to the shoulders, you'll notice that the upper body wants to move. That's natural. We'll keep on going with this idea. Let's do 5 more. Inhale, palms facing up, and exhale. Inhale, rotate palms up. Exhale, rotate the other way. 3 more. Make the breath nice and full. Keep that feeling like the crown of your head is getting magnetized toward the sky. 2 more. And exhale. And then last one. Inhale and exhale. So relax the arms, relax the hands, shake them out a little bit. And we're going to go back to that idea in a moment, but we're going to do it with the arms bent, and we'll see how the movement builds. But we're going to go next for the neck and the head. So we're going to do this, of course, to match the breath's rhythm. So we're going to keep the lower body willfully still. And as I said earlier, just because we're not using the legs, if you happen to be in a wheelchair, just because you have limited sensation in the legs or maybe no sensation, doesn't mean we're going to ignore them. So your feet are rooting down. Visualize them in place. They're heavy, they're grounded, they're stationary, they're rooted. So get that sense in your mind and imagine that your feet are plugged in to some kind of socket from which you're going to derive some energy. So you're lifting the energy, follow the line of it from the soles of the feet up to the ankles. Follow that line of energy up to the shins, to the knees. Follow that line of energy from the knees through the thighs to the hips. Feel the energy in the pelvic basin, right? So your sitting bones are going to stay rooted down, your hips are going to stay in place. We've already noticed how the body moves as we breathe, so let's not lose track of what's happening in the lower body, okay? We're just going to take the movement into the head and neck. So first, get that sensation like the crown of the head is lifting up. Shoulders are drawn down. And then here we go. On the inhale, let your eyes lift, and then let your head lift. So you're lifting your chin. And then as you exhale, you bring your chin down, let your eyes move down, focus your eyes on something there. And then inhaling, again, head lifts. When you land your eyes on something, keep them there as long as you can. And exhale, land your eyes on something, chin to the chest. Let's keep on doing that. Inhaling, head lifts. And exhaling, head drops. So even as we're nodding the head like this and the affirmative, keep that feeling like your spine is lengthening, even through the movement. So the neck is lengthening. And the whole spine. Let the rib cage expand so the lungs are filling, keeping the torso feeling buoyant. Let's do 5 more. As you fill your lungs and get the torso to feel buoyant, get that sensation that even the low back is lengthening. And all of that is a complement to the stationary, rooted quality of the lower body. 2 more. And last one. Okay, let's keep on going with this idea of lifting and lowering the head, but we're going to add something to it, and that is going to be moving the rib cage, right? So here's where you can visualize yourself as having a long tail, okay? So visualize that long tail, and when we do the inhale, it's going to look like this. The head is going to lift, but we're going to let the collarbones broaden. We're going to move the chest forward. We're going to move the waistline forward, and if you had a long tail, that tail would be aiming up and reaching for the back of your head. And then visualize that long tail again. When we do the reverse or the complement, it's going to look like this. The back is going to be rounded, the chin toward the chest, the whole torso is caved in, and that imaginary tail is coming between the knees, and it's going to touch your forehead. Okay, so visualize it like that. And then we'll start together. So inhaling, your head lifts, your chest goes forward, waistline forward, you look up. And then exhaling, your head drops, shoulders cave in, chest cave in, belly button caves in. Back and forth. Inhaling, touch the back of your head with your imaginary tail. Exhale, touch the forehead with your imaginary tail. So a lot of us get tightness in the rib cage. Go back and forth. I'm trying to work out that tightness. So it helps to move your shoulders. Let's do a few more rounds and I'll talk you through the shoulder action. Inhaling, the shoulders move back like you're pulling your shoulder blades toward your spine. Exhale, the opposite. The shoulder blades move away from the spine. And let's do that again. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. So it's important we're moving the abdominal region. Really good for circulation, for digestion, and for lymphatic drainage. And let's do that once more. Inhale, chest lifts, looking up. Exhale, round the back. Shoulder blades pull away from the spine. And then let's come into neutral. And you may have noticed I have these cool ropes. Well, we're going to use the ropes to intensify this little bit of a stretch that we're getting on the shoulder. So we're going to take the rope, or the other day we did this and I used the handrail, right? So in this next move, I'm going to describe holding on to the rope like this with one or both hands. But just know that if you don't have the rope handy, that you can just take your hand to the opposite side of your chair, even to your own opposite leg or thigh. And the idea is we're going to round the back in that same action that I just described with the cat tilt, or with the rounding of the spine, or that image that we had of touching the forehead with the imaginary tail, right? So it's going to involve a little bit of a twist, and it's going to involve holding on, anchoring your hand, and then rounding, okay? So we're going to do that. So you're going to turn and I'm going to say right and left this time because it makes more sense when I do. So we're going to turn the upper body to the right. We're going to hold on to whatever we have, whether we have a rope like I happen to have right here, or whether you have the side of your chair. And we're going to move the hand far away, as far as possible. So we're moving the shoulder away from the back body, moving the shoulder blade away from the spine. We're going to take a deep breath in, and then as exhale, round your back. And that same move that I described earlier, that kind of move where you are reaching the tip of your imaginary tail toward your forehead. And visualize the air moving into the back of your left lung. So it helps to feel the sensation in the rib cage. And as you're trying to get this sensation of opening up the back of the left rib cage, make sure you're not gripping, so you're not squeezing really hard with your hands. So round, stay here a few breaths more. You might even want to lean back with your left side of your body. You might even want to reach more away with your left hand. And let's stay here for 7 more breaths. Even if you're holding onto the side or the wheel of your chair, you should have enough anchorage to create that resistance. 6. 5. 4. So notice where your mind goes, notice where your thoughts are. Remember, the assignment of keeping focused on the breath in itself is something that helps us with anxiety. Now let's make our last exhale, and then let's come into neutral. So if you have that rope, you can let it go. But we're going to still go with this twist to the right. So I'm going to hold on with 2 hands now, either to the side of my chair or the wheels of the chair. And I'm going to stay here in this twist for a few breaths. So remember, the lower body is willfully still. The feet are rooted down, the shins are staying in place. So get that sensation, that feeling, that visualization, like your legs are anchoring, like your feet are even plugging into some kind of source of energy. And use your arms just enough to hold your upper body in this twist. Monitor yourself for excessive tension. Let's take 5 more breaths here, opening up the back of the lungs, both sides of the back of the rib cage. If you can turn your head and look behind you, do that. 3 more breaths. 2 more. Make your last exhale. And then inhale, come back to the center, and then from here, just pause. And when you have a relaxing, therapeutic view like this, it's a pleasure to pause in neutral. And now we're going to do the same sequence to the other side. So just like for the first side, I'm going to take my right hand, this time hold onto the rope. So the rope is coming from the left side. I can also adjust the position of my chair so that it's on the left side, obviously. Brace yourself with the other hand. Reach as far as you comfortably can. Remember holding onto your own leg or creating that resistance with the side of the arm of your chair or the wheel of your chair is possible too. So take a deep breath in and then exhale, round the upper back and stay there for a few breaths. So you're creating some resistance. Now this side is probably going to be different from the other. Most of us are asymmetrical. So you might have to shift and do little micro movements so that you're creating that stretch. And it helps to visualize the steadiness, the rooting of the lower body from the feet through the legs to the pelvis. And then lean back so you can open up a little bit more the right side of the back. Take some deep breaths here. So visualize that right shoulder blade drawing away from your spine. Experiment by little shifts, maybe lifting and lowering the shoulder. You'll never know unless you try. Take 5 more breaths here. Try not to let your mind wander away from the breath and from the sensation. Let's make the last exhale, and then we're going to come back into neutral. And if you're holding onto that rope, you can let it go now. And we'll hold that twist. So we're going to take both hands over to the left side. And we're going to stay here for the next few breaths. So the lower body stays rooted. Take a deep breath to start. And then on the exhale, we turn. And it's totally normal to feel like the breath is a little constricted on the rib cage when we do a twist, of course, because of the way we're compressing the upper body. So it just gives us even more of a reason to deepen the breath. And when we do so, when we're in a twist and we deepen the breath, we can really deepen the sensation of the pose. Let's do 5 more breaths. Turn to look behind you. And in my view, I can see Miami. Quite a lot of it. You can see Miami Beach. You can see a cruise ship. Other big boats. Small boats. Let's slowly release and turn back to face forward, and then just pause facing forward in neutral and notice your breath now. So there's plenty of things to think about, plenty of things to feel distracted by. None of it really matters right now. Just notice your breath. Count 7 deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Do that same thing, 6 more breaths like that. And feel your whole body move as you breathe. And 3 more breaths in through the nose. And out through the mouth. 2 more like that. One more nice deep breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Okay, now we're going to do the next move. So we're going to bring the arms out to the sides. And we're going to bend the arms. And make sure that your elbows are at a comfortable height. They can be down at a slight diagonal from your shoulders, or they could be lifted up like this. And when they're lifted up like this, it should kind of look like they're at a 90-degree angle, so that your elbows are like shoulder height, and so that your forearms are parallel to each other. Okay, so take a deep breath in, lift your chest. So we're doing that dog tilt. Imaginary tail tip touching the back of your head. And then exhale, keep your arms like that, but round your back. Imaginary tail coming toward the forehead. And then again, inhale, lift the chest up, keep the arms engaged. And exhale. Keep on going. Do your best to keep your shoulders drawn away from your ears. Sometimes that's hard to notice if you don't have a mirror. Just do your best. Keep them evenly drawn down. So see how much movement you can get out of this. Inhaling, maybe your palms can even face up, kind of. And then as you exhale, you round your upper body. Maybe your palms can face down. Maybe you can keep on going so your palms face the space behind you. And then inhaling. And exhaling. And inhaling. And exhaling. So the move itself seems kind of simple, but once we start doing it and trying to do it to the breath's rhythm, we notice how many moving parts are involved. We can calculate how much there is to try to equalize. How one hand is bound to be different from the other, one arm different from the other, one shoulder. Of course. Let's do that twice more. So as you inhale, lift your heart, palms facing up, broaden the collarbones, and exhale, round the back, palms facing down or back. And then last one, inhale. And then exhale. Let's come back to neutral. Let's relax the shoulders a little bit. So a lot of us have tension in the neck and shoulders, and obviously when we're in a wheelchair, whether you have the wheelchair you push or whether you have an electric wheelchair, it's we can put a lot of tension on the upper body, especially when we're using it so much, and when we're not able to move the lower body, we tend to use the upper body more. So that makes sense, even though I described it in really simplistic terms. So of course we want to be careful about tension in the neck and shoulders. So let's do something about that. So we're going to hold the shoulders down. And by that I mean we're going to recruit the arms. So you use your hands and you hold onto the sides of your chair, or you hold onto the wheels of your chair, or whatever you got. Maybe even with your elbows, because my elbows fit nicely right here into these arm rests. And we're doing this, we're using the arms so that we can actively draw the shoulders away from the ears. So the difference is having the shoulders lifted up like this and having them really drop down. And when we drop the shoulders down, we can get more of a stretch when we move the head. So that's why I'm asking you to do this. So do your best to move your shoulders down. Okay, we're going to go with the breath for several rounds, and then we're going to hold it on one side. Okay, so that's the assignment. Remember, it's all about trying to focus on the breath. And yes, this is one of the keys to slowing the mind down if ever we are anxious. Okay, and it works for everybody. Take a nice deep breath in neutral, and then exhale, shoulders drop down, your head just kind of goes to one side. And then inhale, you bring your head back to the center. Let's do that several more times for each side. Exhale, your head goes the other side. Okay, back and forth like that. It works best if the shoulders are drawn down. And as you're doing this, you might decide, oh, I need to move my head a little forward in order to get the stretch. Okay, fine, that's good. That means that you are paying attention to how you feel. You go back and forth. Inhale, head to neutral. Audible exhale, head to the side. Keep on going. Remember, the assignment is to use the arms enough to draw the shoulders down, away from the ears, to move as precisely as possible to the breath's rhythm, and also to pay attention to how your body feels so you're making changes that work for you. Now, the next time that we let the head fall to the right, we're going to keep it there. So you're going to bring your head to the right and stay like that. So you'll feel the stretch on the left side of the neck, of course. Draw the shoulder down. Adjust the position of your head, maybe facing forward, maybe face aiming down. And if you want to make it a little more intense, recruit your right arm. So you're going to lift it, and you're going to take your hand on the top of your head, or more likely on the side of your head near your left ear, and just very lightly draw down. So we're not pulling or pushing, we're just lightly drawing down. Take 5 more breaths here, and as your body moves as you breathe, of course the sensation is going to change, so go for it. And remember, it should feel friendly, no jarring. Let's make one more exhale. And then we're going to bring the head into neutral. Okay, so let's go back and forth a few times, and then we'll hold it to the other side. So draw your shoulders down, deep breath in. Exhale, head to the side. Inhale back to the center, so we're slowing it down. Inhale in neutral. Exhale, head to the side. Neutral. Exhale to the other side. Let's do once more each side before we hold it. And then the next time we let the head fall to the left, we'll hold it there. Again, shoulders drawn away from the ears. You'll feel the stretch on the right side of the neck. Adjust the position of your head. Take your left hand, if you want, hold on to the head in a way that helps apply a little more pressure. Three more breaths. Last exhale. And then we're going to turn to neutral again. Bring the arm down. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls. So do them in your own way. And just notice your breath. Go the opposite way. And then from here, I think that it would be nice to seal the class with our seated variation of the sun salutation. And it's going to involve some of the things that we've already done together in class. So the first one I'll go through slowly, and then you go through it, breath by breath, in your own pace. One thing that we haven't done today yet is the idea of trying to simulate a lunge, right? And that is just kind of closing the angle here at the hip, at each hip joint. So it might involve visualizing bringing the thigh in. If you can lift the thigh on its own, you do that, of course. Otherwise, you can take your hands, hold onto the leg, lift it up. Or you can hold onto your shorts or your pants. And then sometimes if we have a rope, we can use that as well. So I'll have this rope ready to do that. Okay. So, no shortage of ropes on a boat. Thank goodness. Okay. So, here we go. We're going to start by moving the arms. So as you inhale, you lift the arms up. Now here's where you arch your back, right? So that imaginary tail is touching the back of your head. And then you exhale, you round your back, hands come down, chin to the chest. So let's do the right leg. Inhale, we're gonna lift it up, maybe using the rope. And exhale, put it down. Okay, again, we start with the arms. Inhale, we lift the arms, we arch the back, we look up. And exhale, we round the back. So we're gonna do the left leg now. Inhale, we lift the torso, lift the leg, maybe with the rope, and exhale, put it down. Okay, so we're gonna keep on going. It's gonna look fast, but we're just going with the breath. So inhale, lift the arms, arching. Exhale, drop the arms, rounding. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, put it down. Arms again, inhale, lift them. Arching, exhale, drop them, rounding. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, put it down. Let's do a few more rounds. Inhale, lift the arms, the heart. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, right leg lifts up, arching the back. Exhale, foot goes down. Inhale, arms lift, we arch again. Exhale, we round. Left leg has a chance. Inhale, we lift it up, arching. Exhale, we put it down. Inhale. And exhale. Remember, I have that special charger. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, foot down. Keep on going. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, foot down. Inhale, heart lifts, arching. Exhale, round. Inhale, right leg lifts, arch the back, looking up. Exhale, foot down. Let's do one more with the left side. Inhale, lift the arms, the heart. Exhale, round the back. Left leg lifts up, arching the back. Exhale, foot goes down. Now let's just do the arms. Inhale, lift them up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Okay, so the hands are at the heart. And of course, we're not just talking about the organ beating in the chest. We are talking about the metaphorical heart, those things that the heart is associated with and has been associated with for a long time. Virtues like patience, tolerance, those things never go out of style. And also a sense of love and gratitude. So we always like to seal our chair yoga class with the exercise of gratitude, because it's very fitting. We have so much to be grateful for. So it's another practice that we want to develop, is the practice of gratitude. So I want you to visualize something or someone you're grateful for. Now, there are countless things to be grateful for, so please just choose one person, one thing, one place, just to narrow the focus. And that has been a little bit of the theme that we're using today, try to narrow the focus. There's so much that could possibly distract us. Okay, so you visualize that person or that thing you're grateful for. And here we go. As you inhale, you're gathering the gratitude. And as you exhale, you bring the hands to the heart. And again, inhale, reach out, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So think of that person or that thing you're grateful for. Once more, inhale, reach out, reach up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so this is really one of the most beautiful parts of every class is when we let everyone say aloud, if they're willing, if they're willing to say aloud what they're grateful for. And it's really heart-opening because you get to hear people tell the truth and kind of sometimes people say things that takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of courage to admit out loud. So when it's just one person here, when it's me, it's not as exciting and it's not as heartwarming. When we have a bunch of people, especially people in wheelchairs here on this boat, or we have our friends from the Woody Foundation or the Sabrina Cohen Foundation or the Alan T. Brown Foundation, or people from the Dana and Christopher Reeves Foundation, it's even more heartwarming and more important and more poignant. Right now it's just me, and I'll just tell you what I always say, because it's always true. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you came to this class today. Thank you to Dharma Studio. Thank you to the Woody Foundations for sponsoring this class all these years and making it free to the public so that other people can experience the far-reaching powers of yoga in a chair. And thank you to the Impossible Dream Foundation and the generosity of the founders, because without all these groups working together, I think that this world would be a little bit less bright, and we all need to look out for each other. And so here we are. Please tell us how you feel about these classes. Give us some feedback. Please tell us how you feel about our social distancing efforts. Tell us, please, any recommendations you might have or any special suggestions. The one that our friend Rob made about deep breathing and concentration exercises and meditative anti-anxiety or anxiety-reducing breathing techniques. That was really a good suggestion. So please keep them coming. So hopefully you can get a little more view of the bay. So enjoy, and we'll be back on Thursday at 4 o'clock. So I hope you have a great rest of the day. I hope that your families are well, that you're safe and sound, and that your pets are well too. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming back.